Hello. Hi. Please let me know if my screen is visible and if I am audible. Okay. Show my screen anyway. Show it, show it. Yeah, so I would like you to let me know if I'm audible and my screen is visible. Thank you, Guru. So, welcome everyone to the weekly chat today. Um, So on HPA Weekly, what we do is we sort of review the week and also build some anticipations um, depending on the data we have. What could happen next week or in the coming times? All right. So that is what we are going to do. And this week, today especially, I want to spend much more time on something which is very topical right now, in the sense that there is a lot of as positional traders, if this uptrend materializes in the form of a bull market for, let's say, even 1.5 years, there is one particular setup positional players can play, which is the big base of breakout setup. So I really want to take some time today to discuss that and basically discuss the whole system from top to finish, how one can scan that and how to trade that, and where might be the stops, how might one trail that, all of it. Okay. So again, welcome back. Last week the bias we had was that trust the uptrend, and this week not much has changed. The bias still, I mean, the environment is still is sort of hard easy money. And why hard easy? I mean, for people who exclusively really trade breakouts, I think they are finding it slightly harder, the environment. But I think PVCs, people who trade PVCs, the environment is still fine. We are still doing well. So that's why hard easy, and of course it's uh, we we are still at and around the breakout pivot, so there still is some chance that we might still pull back and still go sideways. So hard easy. Bias, however, still remains that we trust the uptrend, because what we've seen this week, especially in some of the key indices, if you look at Nifty 50, is that Nifty 50 has broken out of a very nice base. What I call that is a BOB breakout, which is bullish on bullish, and it's also now above all key moving averages. And if you remember, I think last time also we discussed that sometimes what happens is when the strength is very when the market is very strong, even the base will have an ascendancy to its structure. So for example, in this case, this was a slight this was not exactly a base, which is generally straight or has a downward slope. This was a base which had a slightly upward slope. So this structure itself was pointing out towards Nifty being very strong. I mean, in general, not comparably. And so we had the breakout. We are poised to challenge the all-time high, and I sincerely believe that there will be very less supply here, and most of the supply absorption has happened here around this level, which was, if you extend this to about 8 or 10 months ago, this was the period where, like, a lot of supply would have come. So Nifty looks really good to me. And talking about the indices index which we follow more closely, it's the mid and small cap 400 index, and this also looks extremely good, in the sense we had a shakeout. The other word people call it is undercut. So we had the undercut of the 21 EMA. We had this bounce which failed. Let's call it failed. Although it sort of did not fail, we again tested the previous low and then immediately bounced back the other day. But let's call it a failed breakout. However, we are now ready to challenge sort of the all-time highs again. And very similarly to Nifty, I also don't believe that there is much supply around here. Most of it would be shifted here, and most of it would be shifted here, which slowly has been absorbed. Having said that, like I said in the beginning, there could be a possibility of something like this happening, and we could make a slightly bigger base, and then you can imagine this would be a 3D VCB flag or a big base than a breakout. So I'm open to that kind of a possibility, or a breakout and then coming and retest and then basing. So please be open to those possibilities, and always know that the low risk time to time the entries when we are on an uptrend would be when we are bouncing off of the key EMAs, not when we are extended. Okay, as swing traders, it's this concept, this very simple concept is of ultra importance to us. Now, if I talk about some other indices which looked interesting to me this week, has been the mid cap select. In the morning, it looked beautiful. Again, this is the kind of thing which I'm trying to say. On a on a on a higher time frame, on a slightly longer time frame, in the sense not kal parso narso, because this looks to me like a what's the word, stop volume. But in general, for if you ask me in a slightly higher time frame, this still looks to me like a very good attempt to go to new highs, and very similarly you can also find something like this happening, either like a VCP kind of a formation here, or what happened to Nifty, wherein we based but with a slight ascending slope. Okay, so that kind of a thing, and then eventually the BOB might come here. So those, I mean, these are all possible shapes the price can take, but as long as we are trending above the 1021 and the 50, and the 50 is sloping up, we are really in a good stead. Okay, so moving on, how is the breadth? In most all of the time frames, we are trending up, we are back. And let me show, not this, excuse me, Momo. Yeah, so the momentum, ayo, not this. um, okay, so talking about the breadth, we look at breadth in two ways. One is the trend, which is the directional view, and the other is the momentum. So if you look at the short-term trend, when it signaled this Monday, last month, I mean this Monday, it signaled the signal which we look for on the bounce, which is the crossback of the 5 DMA that came on Monday, and it has been steadily increasing. Yesterday, slightly there was a scare which could say that we will curl back up, curl back down, but it's fine now. Like, see, the thing is, once you time, or once you make sure that you caught the reversal, upside reversal, then the next thing to catch is the downside reversal, and in between you just trust the trend. Okay, so this is up. A medium term trend is has been in a bullish zone above 50, and has been trending back again. That upsloping signal again came on the very same day, which is on 23rd. So if you see 23rd, 25.5, and the SMA was 24. So this crossback happened in 50. It happened the next day. So 50 thoda lamba hai, so it will react slightly slower. Whereas the long-term trend has been getting better since the April, and we are steadily making higher highs. When the bull market is in full force, this will also go beyond 50, and so at that time we know that, oh, fully bull market आ गया सर, because many people still are calling this a bear market का uptrend, and this is the reason because some of them follow the system of looking at 200 DMA. We being, I mean, predominantly being slightly short-term traders, I mean, of course, I would like it always to trend up, but again, I am not very arsed about this. Most of the job is done by this. The other way to look at breadth, which is not the directional, but once we know the direction and then we the amplitude, how strong it is done by the momentum breadth plots, which are M swing score. Now, M swing score is basal momentum. The basal momentum has been rising, has been, hold on. So, momentum, M swing, yeah. So how does the M swing plot look? So you can see that post March, post May was very strong, and then we had 2 3 days of pullback, very strong, and then this pullback everyone felt here, and then this was the fake. So I mean, this was um, uh, the momentum getting better, and now I believe this will be like a higher low, and then we will trend back up, or we will be like in this dilly dally around this area, and then eventually again trend back up. So things are still looking good. The other way also to look at momentum would be to look at the Landry plot, which is a strong momentum, which is like, and Landry momentum, the advantage of using there is disadvantage in the sense that Landry momentum is slightly slower than M swing, but the other thing is that you it will be very यूनिफॉर्म. सो जैसे आपको एम स्विंग में चॉप दिखा, इसमें नहीं दिखेगा चॉप. सो इसमें वेरी क्लियरली इट इज़ शोइंग अस दैट वी आर स्लाइटली the underlying hard momentum is increasing. So um, we could be in a scenario where again the momentum will start to pick up, and then that would be the time when a lot of people will find the lot of breakout traders will find the environment easy, and you will find a lot of 20%, 15% kind of stocks every day, a lot of them. So that has been the breadth and momentum, and the same things I have also showed you here. The other thing which I do not fail to touch up on is the positional momentum, which is momentum for positional traders, and that comes from the the Landry score, Landry weekly, the the slightly long term bias, and that is also now back trending up. So we had a scare last week, and if you guys remember, again I said that this could be a very normal action. As long as we are making higher lows and higher highs, we are okay. So, and again, 1 week of pullback is not a big deal at all for positional players whose stop losses would mostly be low if the stock goes inside the base, or a longer term key moving average, which is the 50 DMA, which again I'm gonna discuss in detail. So that's fine there. Let's talk sectors, strength groups. So defense uh, did defense did pull back this week, but if you look at MSwing scores, in general, it is still one of the strongest name. It is just a very healthy pullback, in my opinion. Financial services again bounced back, the likes of CDSL, the likes of KFin, those guys, and they have been strong. Oil, metal, telecom also has been strong now for 3 to 4 months, 3 to 4 weeks, and they still remain strong. Metals did really well. If you look at indices, realty, IT, and small cap are looking good. Now, the other way to look at strength is to look at bottom. So this is a top-down approach where you look at the key players, look at the index, and then make a view. The other way to look at like individually strong names and then infer about which groups they belong to. So that approach is called the bottoms up approach. Now, in if you look at bottoms up approach, which is basically to look at your M swing top 100 relative strength list, you will very clearly identify that A couple of IPOs, power, OEMs, finance, defense. These are the names which dominate the strength currently. Okay, and I believe these are the names should also be dominating your portfolios, especially the swing and positional portfolios currently. So, moving on, let's do a little bit of anticipation. Again, this page is mostly what I have already talked about. Last week, what we anticipated is as long as the key EMAs are trending up and supporting the price, the bias is bullish. But we wait for more confirmation, and that more confirmation came on Monday, like I pointed out here. Um, that came on Monday, 23rd, right? 23rd, yeah. On the index, that day would look like this. This was a clear bounce after the undercut, and then there was a clear bounce. So it sort of played out, and so stocks and sectors, some of the stocks and sectors will reverse before the general market, and this happened. So if you look at a lot of some of the defense did bounce on Friday, and on Monday. Some of the defense did bounce. Some OEMs and all also bounced before we got the confirmation on Monday. I'm sorry, I said on Friday, but it was on Monday. So that happens. But even if that doesn't happen, Monday also, even if you got back on Monday, you would still find a lot of good names which would have possibly done well. The list I share every week, every weekend, almost everything did really well on the week. So positionally, we are into an easy money sort of a situation. Um, Big base breakouts are working, okay, and this is the topic which I'm going to discuss in in detail today. So, how what do we expect or anticipate for next week or for the near term future is that again to do this do the same things, trust the market as long as the breath is bullish and as long as the key indices are trending up and above the key MAs. Bias yourself to hold longer, okay, and this is also coming from a lot of experiential learning. Swing trading is fine, is good, is but if we have a flowing, um, full flowing bull market, it always helps to uh, it always helps to hold something longer, which is a winner till the bull market goes. And for me, especially saying this, it is more harder than I think. Okay, but I am going to um, back myself to inculcate this going forward, and that is what I am also sharing. Also, do not chase. Like I said, that the market, although looks fine now, has a high chance of going sideways. Like I drew some anticipations here. So if that is the case, then chasing will only be frustrating. The other way to say do not chase is do not buy extended. If you are a swing trader, um, uh, de-risking things which have moved up well above your buy price always helps. Okay, and whatever you left, then that can be left for a longer time with a lose stop loss. Yeah, so that's the anticipation. Before going to the BBBOs, I'll quickly discuss my positions. Um, so so I'm still holding more defense, which is a positional play for me. I did I bought here and on this day around 95ish. I also am in JM Financials with a view of slightly a longer sort of positional view. I know that, so this is one big base which I'm which I'm talking about. I know this big base has not sort of broken out, but I think this was a more um, this was a supply area which did make more sense, and here we will not find that much of a supply, although there are some price here. So I am in here on this day, um, with a bias of holding it slightly longer. Positionally, GRSE, I sort of managed to not get out of this position, and I'm still holding it. This is still below my buy price, around 4.55% below my buy price. I also am in NRIN, again with a bias to hold it longer. I also hold NACL with a bias that this big base will break out sooner. Um, and these are my some of my swing positions. I entered as a swing position, but this is a de-risk now. So Q Power was a IPO based breakout. I entered on this day, and I sold 50% on this day, because in the morning it sort of looked to me that it was developing like a stop volume. Again, that was not the right thing to do. It would have been better for me to wait for a day like that. Again, sometimes happens, like, but it was quite extended from my buy point, and as a swing trader, I thought, okay, I mean, it's okay. So sold half, and the other half is still carried. Prabha, I have not de-risked this because the size was slightly smaller. I also again timed this IPO based breakout here. So um, and slightly gravitated towards this name because I saw oil and gas production. Mind you, I don't know anything about this guy, but at during that time, the because the chatter around the war was also high, and oil and gas drilling names were also doing good. So I sort of thought that maybe there is a connection, and there is trying to buy, uh, increase the probability. So this has worked out well. I am in Bharati Hexa. Bharati Hexa was an entry on this day. This was again the why gravitated towards this. Although this was not a very strong stock, perhaps at the time in the M swing list, but I got this from the double inside tandem inside by scanner, and I gravitated towards this because again telecom is also a strong stock. So good PBC buy, I think, in my opinion. I'm very happy with the entry here, and this is still going on. I haven't de-risked or anything. In-depth manufacturing. This is another name which I am in, and very happy again with my execution here. This was not two inside bars, but very small, low risk, not low risk, low range candles with absolute volume contraction, with so the pole is extremely superb. So if you remember during these days when every day it was coming on my volume scan, I'm pretty sure I chat the chat on the group I had was that we will wait for the pullback now, and and it also then after that started coming in the M swing list every day almost on the top half. So I got in here. Yesterday also there was another PBC, and today I think Vivek also pointed out it was also another sort of entry, you could say, which is which is a DTL based breakout entry. So I'm this is another position I'm holding. Ratan Power. Um, the so in these brothers, the power names are slightly lagging, but the India names are doing well. So Ratan Power, Ratan India is doing well, but nonetheless, again, this also I am very happy with the entry, and slightly very slowly it's inching up. I believe one of these days it could make a very big candle, and I would perhaps de-risked on that day. I entered on this candle, and I think I did did alert to this as well. So this was a very nice pullback on these two candle were the candles where we had a PBC. When I saw this, it was already extended for my liking, which is like 3.7 percent. And so I waited for the pullback, and I think I entered on somewhere here. After that, again there was another entry here. So as long as this guy is above 5 DMA, I'm holding. I'm okay, and I like the group. Anything electrical, all this power are strong currently. So coming to the defense names, Idea Forge, I'm still holding. Um, this is a position I made here and here, and I also entered Pro Storm Infosystem yesterday. Um, Again, why? Because like there is electrical products, and anything electrical products is I think moving. Why also? Because this is a very good IPO based breakout. Okay, although the IPO base is not very long or very big, but nonetheless, after this happened, the bias is that it is going to do well on the upside. Um, and so I think my entry was on this candle when if you look at on the 25 minute, there is this IPO base breakout happened here. This would have been the perfect base breakout entry. Came back, retested the breakout level, went up, formed a lower high, came back, and then on this is the reversal in the sense PVC, right? So this was the next day when it gapped up and said that okay, I'm breaking out. I entered somewhere here, and after dilly dallying 2 days, yesterday, today, around the close, it did well. Actually, I did not know it did well. I'm just looking at it now. Um, so yeah, so Pro Storm Infosystem. Uh, okay, so this is one of the most frustrating names I'm holding currently. This is slightly below my buy price. I had a great entry on this day, intraday, and I had another entry on either this day or the previous day. I'm not very sure. One of these days, I doubled the position because I thought, hey, things are getting better. Prestige is clearly the leader in the reality space, in the reality index. And while other names are trying to retest the 50 DMA, take support from the 50 DMA, Prestige has bounced off from the 1020. So indeed, it is a clear leader, but it's just that the whole group is currently basing, going sideways. So if you look at the other names, Shobha did not bounce from 20. It is now seeking 50's support. Same with Brigade also. I'm very hopeful that looking at the other names from reality space, which are at around 50, I am very sure. I mean, not very sure. Excuse me. I mistakenly used the word sure, but I am I am I the high. I feel that is a high probability that we will have the second T, bounce off the second T. Yeah. The other name I'm carrying is Apollo. Apollo, I did enter either on this day or on the next day. I'm not very sure. It is below my buy price. I will be using the 21 DMA to sort of guide me. Aventel is another name which I did a PBC entry here, and I have been talking about the nuances between trading pullbacks and trading breakouts. I'm sure many of you follow me on Twitter, and so see, this is one of the nuances that's playing out, right? If you so breakouts, what happens generally is if you trade a good breakout on the day, it makes a big move, and then more often than not, the next few days it is going to pull back. Whereas on PBCs, what happens is if you add a very good PBC, It will not, many times it will not work immediately, but it'll dilly dally, and then eventually you will have a big candle. So I'm at the wrong end of a BBC buy here, but again, this is all factored in my system now. I'm very happy to wait for 2 or 3 days for that big candle, um, rather than like playing a breakout. So so these are the positions. Um, okay. So if nobody has any questions, I will take questions later as well. Let's come to the meat of the discussion. So what we are going to discuss today is BBBO slash continuation. So this is a setup. BBBO stands for Big Base Breakout, and then there is a hyphen continuation. Yeah, that's correct. So there are, why a BBBO continuation? Because I'm not going to talk about the other BBBO, which is the reversal. Okay, so if you look at from a stage analysis point of view, where the actionability comes from in the life cycle of a stock, um, actionability can come from a lot of places. Currently, we are talking about this entry here, which is there is a big base, and then the price has reached the high of the base, and then there is a breakout. Okay, so this is a big base breakout continuation, which means that if there was a continuation, hold on, Ayayyo. If there was already a prior uptrend here, this prior uptrend is being now continued. So that's where the name continuation comes from. And there is another big base breakout, which again we had a lot of them last month. Some of them the prior month, May, June, sorry, April, May, which is basically when the stock is reversing from a downtrend after making a big base. Again, there are a lot of examples I can show you also here. I have a list now, which is for my masterclass preparation. So that's why the name continuation. Okay, now this kind of a setup is very well suited for someone who has a positional time frame, who doesn't want to get in for quick 10-15% kind of a move, who wants to like build positions in high conviction names which are now in an uptrend, like in a proper uptrend. So people like I don't know if he's in the group. We had a chat. Sorry. So basically positional people. Okay. Now the big base. I mean, currently I'm talking about big base breakout as continuation, but this also applies for big IPO bases. Okay, and many of the IPO bases do not have a prior uptrend, so that's why I'm saying or IPO here. The big question is how big is big, right? So any base which is 3 months long, in my opinion, can be considered as a big base breakout. Okay, anything which is 3 years or so is great. Anything is in between is good. Okay, we will also have live examples to show you how the Homma Khela Away candle, which is a candle that shows you breakout of a bigger base. Sometimes they're not big, but a big base breakout with volumes is when this candle appears. So if you see that candle, and then if you look at the overall structure of the stock, and if you look at that, it's a base which is more than 3 months. That's a very good enough trigger to enter. So before I go and talk about how to scan and some of the nuances, let me show you what it is. Okay, how to scan में इधर HKH भी होएगा, HKH. Okay, so let's look at what is this big base breakout. So here are some of the big base breakouts which has happened in the last 1 month or so, 1-2 months or so. So Bharat Electronics was a big base breakout, and you can see which is the base. This is the base, right? This is a this is a very big base, and this would I mean, many people don't like to many people just I don't know, like stick to horizontal line. So let me also draw that. So this is the horizontal line, this is the base, this is the O'Neill pivot, which is the high of the base. Many a times, as I have discussed today, uh, when I showed you mid small uh, in here, or when I showed you Nifty, where I said that this is the actual line of supply. Many a times, the big base breakouts, the actual line of supply will not be the O'Neill pivot, which is the absolute high of the base. Okay. So in this case also, BEL also, the actual line of supply was this, and once that breakout occurred, now this one people are not sure, right? Sometimes we are not sure at when this big base breakout was um, happening real time, but this candle was like मैं हूँ मुझे देख, है ना, मैं like that um, that that comedian, like this was the clear indication that hey, I'm here. So this is an example of big base breakout. Now if you are a chartist, and you can also name the big base breakouts. Okay, so um, if you look at the other way to look at is the stage analysis, but now overlay patterns onto it. So the reversal big base breakouts will have patterns like inverse head and shoulder, double bottom, triple bottom, sometimes rectangles, and sometimes symmetrical triangle. This big base continuation will have cup and handles most of the time. Sometimes the cup and handle will have um, um, double bottoms as well. Sometimes they are ascending triangles. So again, those things don't matter, but I'm just sliding in another view. So what was this? This was a peak double bottom with uh, a shakeout. So this is the one which O'Neill likes the most. That the second bottom has pierced the previous bottom, and then a lot of weak hands would go out. The other name in the example is India Glycols, and now I distinctly remember the night where I was scanning, where I saw this guy, and I remember posting about it when it was here on this day and this night, means like 7th May night, when I was posting good setups. I remember this, and one of the member from the HPA had a question about the base, that does it not look choppy to you, right? The answer was yes, it does look choppy if you look from the angle, in the sense that there was a clear rejection, whoops, reversal, and then even here the clear rejection. But you have to see that what happened after this. After this, the rejection was did not manage to thump the price back down. It was nicely supported by the key EMAs, and then we had tightness, and so the entry would have been this. This would have been a fake out. The next day, your stops would not have been triggered because your stops would go below this, and then we had the actual base breakout here. So this is a big base breakout. Okay, like I said, anything above 30 days, not 30 days, hold on, 3 months, which is a quarter. Excuse me, is that a quarter? Yes, it's a quarter. The other name, which was one of the most beautiful big base breakouts in the market in the current times, has been APL Apollo. Again, I will repeat these as many times as I have to. A lot of the times, your one horizontal line will not work because the real line of supply is not on that base high, but it has now shifted here. And again, this was also a name I posted on the group. I alerted on the group, and this day would have been the entry day. Very recently, this week, not this week, couple of weeks ago, very similar to APL Apollo, but slightly smaller base, and also something which moves slightly faster because it has just 4% ATR. M cap is also below 10k. This was a great big base breakout. This is the line of supply. Um, this would have been the day where there is a breakout, and I'll discuss in very shortly the stop losses and how to manage risk. Your the minimum, the सबसे छोटा SL होने से भी इसके नीचे जाएगा, that would not have been clipped. This was the real then breakout, and then first PBC, second PBC. I actually entered strides here in my long term portfolio. Um, the other one is a DV slab as an example. This is, yes, now in here you can put a one horizontal line, which makes sense, okay, because it makes sense. It makes sense because there are, this one horizontal line touches more number of pivots, okay. So imagine this is one line, it's a mota thick line. It has one, two, three, four, fifth touch, and after this fifth touch, um, bulls supported it, and then the actual base breakout came. And then you can also see this white candle is the Homma Khilaove candle, okay. Okay, some of these do not have, Apollo also don't have, India Glycols has here but not here. Yeah, again, not all of them it will appear because some of the rules are slightly stringent. So Bharati Airtel had a great big base breakout. So and I remember pointing this out in the group. So this was the clear breakout on a gap up. So this was, if you look at, I mean, a stock, a market cap 1,233,000 crores का market cap का stock अगर gap up हो रहा है 2.8%, which means that like this is a really good big base breakout, okay. And then yeah, like with all breakouts, it comes back and tests your breakout zone, and then here is where more I mean this is the Khilaove, and then it's a smooth riding because lot of um, lot of supply absorption. And then if you don't look at this, also the other way to look at it is like a good flag, and there's volatility contraction here. So anyways, this was a big base breakout, and this would have been the entry day. NDAR auto components today was a continuation after the big base breakout, and I'll show you where the big base breakout was. um, Here, so this was the line of supply or the zone of supply. um, Very big base, double bottom, very similar to BEL. It's a bigger double bottom, but a very similar base, and then came back. This slap did not take the price lower. Heisenberg came into support, and then we had an actual breakout. Excuse me. After this actual breakout, we had a follow through, came back, retested the breakout zone, and then we are now back up. So yeah, so this is a good example today. Narayana Hrudalaya. Okay, so this is another good example. If you look at this base, now see, this also looks choppy, right? This looks extremely choppy, but just because it looks choppy, it doesn't mean that it's not tradable. Now many people think that choppy bases are not tradable. I am of the opinion that they just don't know how to trade a choppy base, right? If it is too choppy, then you don't buy the breakout, you buy the pullback, so that your stop loss is low. Anyways, so this is it's an extremely good example of a great big base breakout. Now we know, and I'm sure most of you also remember that there were a couple of big base breakouts during the downtrending market. NH, SRF, Bajaj Finance. These were the stronger names which are already at the market highs, at their all-time highs when the market was going down. So that clearly suggested that there is strength there. And in this one, there is this clear Khilaove on this day. Okay, so and then another one here, which is a continuation. Now this is also big, but again not very big. Let's look at how big this guy is. I mean, this base is so this is 53 days. Okay, so 3 months would be 60. So like, yeah, I mean, you can call it, but this is definitely a very big base. So so any entry on this day would have this guy safe. Not sure on this day. I mean, there's a high possibility that we would chicken out on this gap down. So, but mota mota, if the bias was to hold, these things could have been held. R power is an amazing example. Um, like I said again, and this would be the main line of supply. And again, like this is actually the main line of supply. Okay, slightly slanting. So please make sure don't just use a horizontal line for the sake of it. Okay. So this is also some sort of a not a double bottom, can be a double bottom, and double bottoms also can have some handle. So base, and then this was the day when like um, our power said that, hey, look, I'm extremely strong. um, One thing I want to because we are on our power, if you are someone who is trading on technicals, don't let anything bias you against the stock. Now there could be a lot of bias against our power because of his history, especially if you are trading more than 10-15 years and know about these stocks. But if you are a technical trader, try not to bias yourself, because it's at the end of the day, price is what pays. And if price says I'm breaking out, if you have a decent stop loss which would have gone below this, you would have made a lot of money here. So the other great name which we diligently followed in the group was Force Motors. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people in the group did uh, trade this. Unfortunately, I did not trade this name somehow. So this is again a very big base. So here's the main source of supply. Supply shifted slightly below, below, and then somewhere here again. And so we this was the day when Force Motor said, "Hey, look at me, I am ready." Right. So this is the big base breakout, and yeah, like May 2nd, which is also round about slightly uh, pehle, slightly ahead of the market, and then it's like comfortably at 50% now. So, and once that happens, then you will find PVCs around everywhere. I also remember uh, talking to a fellow HPA trader saying that you should probably uh, not sell everything here. I remember the chat I had, it was around here. I distinctly remember that now that we are doing slightly well in the market, bias to hold this, sell half here, and then you can then embrace the pullback. Um, the trader was slightly adamant that नहीं मेरे को I don't want to give back the gains, so I'm not sure what happened to that. But yeah, once the market gets better, and then you have a peak entry on a big base breakout, you should also bias yourself to hold some longer. Okay. Q power is not a big base. I mean, it's a big base breakout, but it's not a continuation breakout, because this is the base. IPOs did not have a prior uptrend. The actual breakout again here as well is not here, because यहाँ पे ज़्यादा कुछ सप्लाई था ही नहीं. Most some buying happened here on the next day, and then again it fell. So trap was here. The actual then base breakout actually is here. Okay, so on this day when this region was what's the word, overcome, this would have been the best day. But again, the IPO high breakout this day also could have been another day of entry. I entered here, so that was my after I was sure that the IPO base breakout was done. I go in there. I went in there. So this again did well. So hopefully this turns out to be a very good trade for me going forward. And let's say there is a very high chance that this Q power could now build another base here that would look like a great flag, even a high tide flag. You can call it a high tide flag as well. So and then there would be another area to add here. Okay, uh, NACL is one example. What Q power could do. So forget about the IPO. We traded it here, and then uh, if you gotten out, I got out here actually. Um, just market environment was so bad, I just could not hold it. But then because of this uptrend, the bias always was that NACL will base and get out. So something like that could happen. Hyundai is a very good example of a big base breakout, albeit this is a IPO based breakout and not a continuation based breakout. So this so so in here there were two entry points. One, this where Hyundai, which is again a very big market cap, very big auto name, on a day when autos were strong. I clearly remember on these days autos were really strong. Lots of chatter on our group as well. It broke out of this base high. Uh, I mean, base high was this, but like I said, the supply was shifted down. Okay, these are very important concepts. What I'm telling you guys now, very important concepts. So this was a clear breakout above the supply zone. And again, after that, what happens? The nuance of in trading breakout, there's always a 50-50 probability um, that it comes back and retests. So now, since we know that, if you are trading this, then your system should incorporate this happening as something very normal, right? So then what you do is you make sure that you give the stock chance to prove itself until and unless it doesn't violate the MAs. And anyways, if this was the entry, you would have been slightly uh, what's the word, frustrated, but then there was this peak follow through or the actual breakout, and then very smooth sailing. It's a great example. Kemlin Fine Chem is a great example of a big base breakout. Now you would say, hey Prakash, where is the big base breakout? This is the big base breakout. Here, this was the base high, but again, this was not the entry point because the supply from that base had shifted here. Very similar to R power, but slightly longer base than R power. Oh no, BEL, very similar to BEL. So BEL, देखो, so the base started from July 2024. Kemlin Fine Sciences का base, the actual वो started from 2021. So this is a big base, okay, 3 years. Even these guys, these big base breakouts, which would have been on this day, was a good entry, and after that, it's been doing well. Reliance Infra, very similar to R Power, also was a big base. This one, NACL I just showed you. Currently, this is a big base breakout, and yeah. So you see, there is a slight difference in way people trade these. Uh, Again, as I said, there is no supply here. The supply shifted here, okay? And one way to map the supply would be, say, this, and one touch, two touch, and this is a probable region of supply, but again, there is also very less supply here. The supply did shift to this place, and this Khelawe was a clear sign that this is a very low risk entry, okay? So a lot of examples. Let's now talk about how to scan nuances. I already described a lot of nuances, but this is a nuance on scanning. Okay, so a lot of examples here. You can see that I incorporated large caps. I'll say like names like Bharti Airtel, DVs. So what happens is, see, the main main way to scan these is just to do whatever you do currently, which is scan the high RS top 200 list. Okay, in the top 200 list also you will find a lot of big base breakouts. So I am not sure, one of the examples which came in today or a couple of days ago, let's say NDAR auto, right? So NDAR auto is a big base breakout, say today, and say like on 2nd June. So do you think you would have picked up NDAR auto on the on on our mswing list? So this is the mswing list. If you look at NDAR auto, it is here. Okay, so of course today it has shifted slightly higher. On the main breakout day, it might not have been so high on the mswing list on this day, but it would still be on the mswing 100 list. Okay, so you don't have to, if you are, if you are not like, if BBBO continuation is not the only thing you trade, if you are a swing trader also, you can get this big base continuation by just doing what you already do, which is scanning the top 200 RS list. Okay, the second way, which is more what's the word, optimized. Yes, optimized is the word. Okay, which is more optimized towards finding these guys particularly. And I don't care on the, don't care about the smaller flags, but I'm more, I want the big base breakouts. Okay, so if you run the 52-week high scanner, uh, more so the 5% from the 52-week high scanner, you will find a lot of big base breakouts there. So where to get that scan? You don't have to go anywhere. You go to the website Sakatas Homma.com. You have scanner there. You go to select scanner. You say 5% of 52-week high close, and you will get a lot of names. Okay, and because you are big base breakouts, I mean, you can choose to do it once a week, is also fine. Like I said, positional people, once a week is fine, like itna bhi matlab, but again, do something every day as well. So there has to be a balance. So this one will have a lot of 52-week highs, and you'll find a lot of names from this. Okay, um, what and the other one is HKH scanner. So you can, like I said, as I've shown you with a couple of examples, um, not all the big base breakout will have an HKH, but a lot of them will have an HKH name. So the conversely, the other way to scan for this is if you go to Homma Khela Hobe, and you'll find less names here. Let's say if you want a scanning system to track these every day, and 150 names from the 52-week scanner is too much for you to go, then you can go through this route. So HKH will have, like today it has 37 names. So if you look at HKH today here, I'm pretty sure you will find big base breakouts here, like 2 or 3 at least. At least every day you will find a couple of big base breakouts happening at least. See NDR ऑटो में आया ना आज, ओ इसमें तो आया ही आपने देखा. तो you will find this. Okay, so the other nuance I was trying to talk. So these are the 3 concerted ways. You can choose any one as a system, and once you choose any one of these or all 3 of these, uh, to find the big base breakouts, what is more important is you have to repeat that. Can be weekly repeat, which means that in a year you have to definitely 52 times you have to run this scanner and go through that 100 list, or you can do like every day 30-40 names from the HKH, but you have to repeat it. ऐसा नहीं कि आज आपने किया फिर कल नहीं करोगे. So then what happens is that system नहीं बनेगा. That system will not become your system. Okay, so the other nuance I wanted to touch upon is that if you want to scan, if you want to get to large cap BBBOs, then my top 200 list will miss them, because my 200 list will be predominantly dominated by small caps, and so the the big large BBBOs will not come in the top 200 list. Okay, so if you are more keen on big base breakouts on large liquid names, then you have to prune your RS list slightly shorter and have some liquidity filters. So you will probably have to get to the liquid list. Okay, so that's the small nuance. Now let's talk about entry, SL, and sell. This is actually very clear. Entry is on the breakout candle. If you want to be slightly cute, you can also wait for the stock to pull back after the big base breakout. But I have to warn you, the pullback doesn't come all the time. Okay, so for example, अगर Hyundai में इसके बाद आपने रुका होता कि pullback आएगा 21 तक तब घुसेंगे, then you would have just so another big base breakout, MCX. MCX was a nice big base breakout. This was a big base. Okay, and again I'm repeating this again and again. There is no supply here. There is no supply here. Okay, most of the supply shifted here. That supply became a problem here, and then around this time, this was the clear sign that it broke out. Yeah, so if you had waited seeing this that MCX all time high cross कर दिया और अभी आएगा pullback, तो you would find a higher price. Okay, so entry is very simple. Keep it simple. Enter on the breakout candle. I suppose you are a positional player and you have the patience to just sit on the position for some time. 50% of the time your position will take off. Okay, SL, there are two SLs. You can either go for low of the breakout candle. So for example, if you did this, this was slightly extended, so I will not put low. But if I had this, there would be low of the candle, and that is also low of the swing low. Okay, so low of the candle or low of the swing low. Most of the time, because it's not a swing setup, your stop losses will be slightly higher. It could be 8 to 12%. Okay, that is fine for a positional player. 8 to 12% is fine. Okay, so for example, star on this would have been low of the candle. That also coincides with low of the tight area. This low of the candle or low of the tight area, whichever whichever looks fine to you. Yeah, so NDR auto today, if you'd entered, then definitely my stop loss would go here. So low of the day. I mean, again, the other thing here is, please make sure that when I say low of the day, it's not like exactly the low of the day. You have to put, if you are a swing trader, you have to put 0.5 to 0.6% below low of the day. If you are a positional trader, you can even put 2 to 3% below that below that swing low. Okay, when I say swing low, एकदम बिल्कुल यहाँ पे आपको नहीं डालना है. Many a times they come back and get that. You put it somewhere in the void. Okay, and ऐसा नहीं है कि you will still not get clipped. You still sometime will get clipped, but if you get clipped, you get clipped. Then it's part of the system. Where do you sell? Okay, so as purely talking about from a swing positional trader's perspective, the sells are selling on weakness. So most of the time, these big base breakouts. For example, let's take an example of something which has already been playing out, which is force motor. So most of the time, these big base breakouts have the tendency to at least go to the base high. Okay, so base ka low, from the low of the base you subtend that to the line of support from where the breakout happened, and then you subtend that. So currently it is at around the technical target. So 55% is a longer target, right? So what you have to do is you have to make sure that this uptrend, which started way here but continued after the big base breakout, this uptrend is now no longer exist. So there is a time where you you sell the stock. So how this can play out now is like, let's say force motor goes up, then comes back, clips the 21, goes back up, and then base is here, and then from here, let's say when this happens, I'm just arbitrarily drawing a scenario. Let's say 50 से bounce आया या clip किया, and then from here, force motors can choose to do two things. It can choose to continue the breakout if bull support, or it can choose to reverse. Okay, so when it chooses to reverse from this position, your 50 DMA will be a convincing break of the 50 DMA. Okay, just I'm just trying to be very clear here. Convincing break of the 50 DMA. Sometimes 50 DMA will be touched, but there will be no volume in that candle. Okay, the pullback to that 50 DMA will be on very small volume. So those things are fine until unless there is like a big red volume, big volume, and a big red candle. That is a clear sell, and when that happens, inherently your M swing will also show red, or crossing below zero. Okay, so for example, in here, when force motors was on this huge humongous uptrend, so this is exactly what I'm saying. This is a very good example. So you see, यहाँ पे करके आया, यहाँ पे of course you could have sold here. um, uh, there was also some earnings, and this would have been a sell, though. But then sometimes it can shake you out and then go off, and if it goes, the convincing sell will happen on the break of 50 DMA. At that time, the M swing will also clearly turn, um, uh, the relative strength will disappear, and then your M swing will go below zero, or already turned red before that happens. Now, whenever it turns red in my M swing, it means that it is not outperforming the market. So those signs will appear. Okay, so you will, once you trade more BBBOs, and you watch more how they move, you will also then develop the nuances on on the sell rules also. So those nuances I will not be able to tell you, because I frankly have not traded them much, but I have extensively studied them. But trading them on real time brings some different kind of nuances, which back tests or deep dives alone cannot bring. So once you do more of the trading of the setup, nuances will be more and more clear. Okay, so that's the whole system, and yeah, that's the end of whatever I had to discuss today. I apologize, and 9:10 I've slightly overshot my time with you guys today, but I will still take some questions if you guys have any. Yes, 8:40. Um, Vivek says thoughts on Shriram Properties, and Anil says Macrotech Lodha. SHRIRAM. Shriram Props. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, if you are looking exclusively for big base breakouts, you can even scan on weekly. Okay, I mean, you can prepare your M swing list like how you prepare, but your scanning on the charts can be looked at on a weekly scale, so that would be more better for exclusive positional traders. Vivek, Shriram Property looks okay, but I believe there are slightly better names. Um, this base could turn out to be like a base which is actually stronger, and that's why it has a slope. But it can also turn out to be like a wedge. So, but it's definitely strong. Um, definitely strong. But in reality space, I think there are stronger names than this. Um, Macrotech Lodha. Hold on. Lots of reality questions. Lodha. So Macrotech Lodha. Good question here. It's a big base. Currently set up as a big base. Okay. So if you look at this is the high of the base, the 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 supply has shifted here, and that supply did its magic here. But the moment there is a big candle supported by volumes breaking above the zone, that's a big base breakout entry uh, on a double bottom base. Where can we find Guru? You're still here? Yes. So this is very simple. Where to find the R2200 scanner, and I'll show you real quick. So if you go to HPA dashboard, you will have charting dashboard. In charting dashboard, you will have MSwing relative strength list. Okay. So this is the list. आपको एम स्विंग वीकली में भी स्कैन कर सकते हो, जैसे एम स्विंग वीकली में देखो एन ए सी एल कैमलिन. अगर आपको इफ़ यू वांट एक्सक्लूसिवली बिग बेस ब्रेकआउट्स देन यू कैन इवन से एम स्विंग वीकली and then you go through these names. M swing daily, which I like because I I am more so a swing trader. So M swing daily पे करोगे तो then the top 200 names from here is your list. So Lumex, Q Power, Kemlin, Krishana, all those names. Okay. So what you have to do is you download here, and then Excel sheet say you copy the name and put to the trading view list. But you know you don't have to do that, because being an HPA guy, I do that for you guys. So what I do is, so if you forget how to do that, you can go to HP explainers and look for a video where I actually explain how to make that list, how to get the M-swing relative list from charting. Okay, small 5 minutes explainer here. But like I said, you guys do not have that much time to prepare the list and all. You have two trading view a watch list here, and the Homma M-swing RS list is updated every day here. InDef, Sabnil, Lumex, Q Power, ये आज का list है मेरा. So you basically take that and say copy your, excuse me, um, command A, select all, come on. I don't know, but ऐसा मेरे से हो नहीं रहा है यहाँ पे. But I think yeah, you can select this all the list and copy watch list somehow. I'm unable to do that, but that would be a shorter way to get the list. Okay. um, yeah, so RS 100 200 starting में मैं बस 100 देखता था, but then I also realized that 200 में भी अच्छे अच्छे setups मिलते हैं, तो मैंने उसको 200 कर दिया. Karthik asks, Hona Tha consumer and translates currently big base. Hona Sa is a big base, but it's a BBBO reversal. Okay, it's a good question. Let's look at that. HONASA. So if you look at Honasa, the Honasa ka O'Neill pivot is this. Okay, this is a big base, but currently it has broken out of a decently big base. Again, how big is a decently big base? Anything above 50 is good. Okay, so this is 186 day long base, and because this is not a continuation base, this is a reversal base. What is it reversing? It is reversing the prior downtrend to an uptrend. Okay, and that is why Honatha Pyar is a big base, but it's a reversal big base. And I had some really good reversal big base list as well. Some of these are meshed or classics. ओके, HONASA होनासा को भी ऐड करेंगे लिस्ट पे पहले. So for example, Solara is a great big base breakout. Happened couple of days ago, actually 2 days ago. So this is a big base which is reversing the prior downtrend. So that's why it's a reversal base. Now agar Solara would be a continuation big base breakout when Solara will climb up to its O'Neill pivot and does something like this, then not होना था, then Solara would be a big base continuation breakout here, because this breakout is continuing the previous uptrend here, something like that. Okay. JM Financials had a great big base reversal here. Okay. If you see this big base is more than 50-day long, I am sure of that. Yes, it's 81 days long. Swiggy Swigs the World was a very good reversal big base. Okay. Now, when will this become an IPO based breakout? It will become an IPO based breakout when this guy will climb up here. Sometimes it doesn't reach there, because that will shift somewhere downwards, and something like this is happening in Wari Energies currently, wherein we are no longer here. So Swiggy यहाँ पे था, currently where it is, and then it is gone up, and then it is now there is no the supply shifted down here. So currently there is a supply here, and then this will be a big base IPO base breakout. Okay. Raymond SL was a great reversal big base breakout here. Rallis was another amazing big base breakout. I'm pretty sure um, I uh, I alerted this on the group. Anant Raj was a good big base breakout, but it hasn't followed through much. But 50 पे आके रुका है, so it still can do well. Same with NetWeb as well. These were good big base breakouts. Swan Energy is a probable big base reversal base breakout. SBCL was amazing reversal big base breakout. This was like next level peak. Actually added this to the list of long term buy points, but I somehow missed it on this day. I'm not sure why. I just missed it. So another good sort of IPO reversal base was the name from what was the name? Unimech. Yeah, Unimech was another one. UNIMECH. And this also I remember I did float the name around the group when defense was starting to get hot. This was a big reversal base breakout. It's a triple bottom is what they call this. And now this would be a IPO based breakout. Okay, slightly gone into a different tangent. I was aware, so sorry, but can you please make a scanner list for SNO FNO stock? Can you elaborate this question? Scanner list for FNO stock means what? Like you want stocks which are in FNO? Like just total FNO list is possible. So Guru Bhai, can you add some more clarity to this question? Karthik says, okay, got it. Any change in approach due to overhead supply? See, there is no change in approach. Okay. But what is there is some sort of situational awareness. Uh, when do you trade reversal based breakouts? Reversal based breakouts will be traded when the general market is also breaking out of a reversal base. Okay, this is very important, and I made a video uh, like hammering home this point that big base breakouts are tradable, but there is a time for that. Okay, the situational awareness of setups is what I named that video. So if you look at Nifty 50, what was this? This was a reversal based breakout. If you look at mid small, what was this? If you go to HPA and you look at the videos we did, I was calling this a major pivot, major reversal pivot. This was this was a minor reversal pivot because this was the previous swing high which got broken out, and this is a major reversal pivot. So When the general market itself is setting up as a big base reversal breakout, what inherently happens is that you will also get a lot of names which are setting up as big base breakouts. Okay, so if 2 months ago there were reversal based breakouts, I would have traded it, and we did trade a lot of them as well. But let's say now let's say the market has moved up from this scenario, and right now what it is trying to do is it is trying to make a O'Neill O'Neill pivot continuation big base breakouts. Now, when the market is making a continuation big base breakout, some of the stock is making a reversal big base breakout. What does that tell me about those stocks? Okay, think about it. So, so there are two questions. Yes, it could be probably that they are laggards, because see, when market turns, laggards will also move, but laggards will move less. Laggards will move slowly. Laggards will follow, right? The other thing can be uh, that they are not laggards, but the the money flow in that particular group is only happening now. So some of the examples of this what happened was during the 2023 bull run. um, Nvidia and those things, Nvidia, which is like a huge multi-bagger, they actually broke out slightly later than the general market. So could be that the big money was slightly not sure about a lot of things related to AI, and then once they become sure, then they jumped in slightly later than the general market. That could happen. In Indian context, that also happened. So, for example, railways were quite clearly the flavor of the market even before the market turned. So, 2023 April was when we started the bull run, but railway names were breaking out from 2022 late itself. So the names like JWL, TWL, the Wagon Brothers, they were already more than 150 to 100%, right? Um, but there are some names which later in the bull run went on to become multi-baggers. So, for example, the renewable space did not start their bull run along with the general market, which is April 2023. They caught up later. They caught up after the first shakeout, September 2023, when we had the first shakeout. After that was October, November, December, January. These 4 months, renewables then came into the flavor. So that could happen, or they are laggards. Okay, so you have to be slightly choosy between that. Now, how to say if they are laggards or not? One way to say is that not only you will find one single base from that group, but multiple reversal bases are going together and breaking out of big base reversal base breakouts. Something which I think currently is happening with the chemical space. Okay, now some of the chemical space, now chemical is also a big umbrella. There are a lot of different chemicals there. Some are API, some are the scent related, some are battery and stuff like that. But a lot of chemical names as a whole are trying to get out of the big base reversal breakouts, the likes of Clean Science, Tatwa Chintan, the Amine Brothers, um, a lot of them. So could be that chemicals are not laggards, but they are now coming into favor slightly later. Yes, Ingrevia. So a lot of this pharma related chemicals are also coming. API related chemicals. So it could be that just because they are coming slightly later doesn't mean that they are laggards. It's just that that sector is getting money slightly later than the general overall market. So those are the situational awareness which you have to think about on this. Okay. Any more questions, guys? If not, then I will stop here and hope to see some of you tomorrow on the masterclass. And yeah, good night and have a good weekend. Bye bye. See you.